This is a video for AQA Discrete Mathematics, Critical Path Analysis, Section 2.2, using Gantt Charts. Well, so far in the work, we've always assumed that we've got enough people and equipment to deal with the activities as they arise. However, that is not always going to be the case in practice. So, for example, we might have only one specialized piece of equipment and it might be needed on two activities at the same time, or maybe we don't have enough workers. So there may always be problems within the project, and we need to see how we can adjust the timing of activities to get over these problems, if at all possible. So in this video we're looking at how we can use Gantt charts for that. In later videos we'll also look at the idea of what's called resource leveling and how that can be done with the information that we've gathered so far. So this is the Gantt chart that we produced in an earlier video, which shows the critical activities at the top and the non-critical activities at the bottom. And we know that because we've got critical activities, any delay in these is going to mean that the whole project is delayed. However, delay in non-critical activities is not necessarily going to be a problem. So let's look at a couple of questions which illustrate this idea. In the first one, we've got a piece of equipment which is needed for both B and D, and in the second one we've got a problem with C and D where there's a qualified person needed to do both of those and can't do both at the same time, obviously. So let's consider those one at a time. So the first one, we're looking at activities B and D. We're saying that we can't do those at the same time because they both require the same piece of equipment. Well, that's not too much of a problem for D because we can see that it could start later than it is at the moment. There's a good float time indicated by the dotted rectangle at the end, and so it could wait until B is completed before it starts. In other words, we could delay the start of D by 3 hours. Now, delaying the start would also then obviously delay the end time, so D would now finish at this point 3 hours later than we had initially put on the diagram. There's a knock-on effect because if we look at the activity network, F relies on D being completed, so we can't start F until D is completed. So F must wait until this position here to start, and therefore it's going to be delayed by 3 hours. But that's okay, it will still be completed inside its float time. So delaying the start of D and F by 3 hours means that the activities can be completed within their float times, and therefore the whole project can still be completed in 27 hours. The second question concerns C and D. Now, C is on the critical path, so we can't move that, as we've already discussed. At least we could move it, but it will definitely then cause delays. But D could be moved so that it starts after C has finished. So that means that the start of D would be at this point here, which is at time 8. D's got a duration of 7, so it would then finish at time 15. Now you can see there that that is now outside the float time. So by delaying the start of D so that it starts after C has been completed, pushes it outside its float time. The knock-on effect of that is that F can't start until D has been completed, and that means that F finishes 2 hours later than it should do, at least 2 hours outside its float time. So this is now F. And again, if we look at the activity diagram, we can see that G relies on F. So that means that G must start 2 hours late. Now there's the problem, because G is on the critical path, which means G is going to be 2 hours late starting, and that pushes on I, means that's going to be 2 hours late, and K, and also that means that I will be 2 hours late starting, and so I will be here and will finish at this time here, which is 29. So instead of being completed at time 27, we've now got this delay of 2 hours, which means that the end time is going to be at 29. So that completes this video on how we can use Gantt charts to answer some simple questions about timing of activities and the effect they will have on the completion of a project. In the next video, we'll look at how we construct what's called a resource histogram.